What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Panda here. And if you can't tell in the background, we have some super awesome news. We finally cleared GR2 Stage 18, which means we have officially beaten all 3 of the Gear Raid Stage 18s, which, for being just over 2 weeks into the game, I feel is a huge milestone. I will unlock Volca at reset tonight, which means that I will have gotten all 3 of these gear raids to 18 before even day 19, which is crazy good in my opinion. I don't know if it's the fastest, I'm sure it's not, but I am still super happy with it, and so I wanted to run through a really quick sort of how I got there for you guys in today's video. So let's go ahead and sell this gear real fast, because I'm sure it's all bad because drops in this game suck. Yeah, not good. But let's quickly go through all 3 of the gear raids. I'm going to run through real quickly my account so you can see what I have access to. I do want to say, yes, I have gotten relatively lucky in terms of my summons. You know, I do have quite a few of the very good legendaries in the games, but I also have quite a few bad legendaries in the game, so I think it's kind of evened itself out. So, of course, first we have Hots. She is a phenomenal champion in the game. I love her so much. She has unlocked so much potential. There's a reason why she's considered one of the best legendaries in the game, is because she's just that good. We have her in a pretty decent build, I would say. You know, some crit damage, some attack, kind of all over the place. Most of this is the gear you get from storyline, right? These 2 pieces here is the gear you get from storyline. I believe this is one of the pieces from storyline. This was just a decent piece that I picked up. And then same for this one, some nice rolls here on this insight bangle. Definitely happy with that. But yeah, so that is my hats. Then we have Setrum. Setrum is really, really good for several different things. I use him as the boss killer in Gear Raid 1, right? I use him as the boss killer in Gear Raid 3, and he is also phenomenal in Guild Boss. He's also very good in places like Void Rift, where you need a very strong, sort of bursty single target damage, so definitely love him. His build is very good in my opinion. He does stack up crit rate. I would like to get 7% more, I think, is what he needs, because he needs to be right around 85% with no skill ups, which I do not have currently. Once you get skill ups, I think it goes up to, let's see, 2, 4, 7 goes up to 22 times, I think. Yeah, so 22 times, so then you only need 22% less. So once we get there, this will be perfect, but I'm not going to be putting skill ups in him for probably a while, because I have so many other good champions. But he's a very solid champion, very good for you know, damage dealing. Again, he's just in basically triple attack. We've got this crazy crit rate roll, very good piece there, and then this is just another really solid piece across the board. So definitely some good pieces that we've picked up along the way. We love it. We got Zillu here. Zillu is probably one of my favorite champions in the game. She just looks really cool. She does really good things, and again, she's just kind of like Hats, where she's good everywhere, but she really excels in a lot of different places, such as she's really, really helpful actually in Gear Raid 2, because she can hit both of the lanes, which is really great with her range. She's really good in Gear Raid 3 because you can stick her in that middle slot and she can actually hit the ads and the boss in the center, which is awesome. And of course, again, another thing really good in Guild Boss. So I use her in quite a bit of my runs. You'll see she's got a pretty decent build. We're a little over on crit rate, but not too bad. A little over double the attack, which we'll take. We definitely love that. We also have some good HP, and since she's a melee fighter, it kind of fits in that role, so definitely excited about that. I would love to get some more crit damage, but we do have her rocking in a crit rate ring. This is the ring you get from the storyline, so unfortunately I don't have a lot of crit rate rolls. This is also a piece you get from storyline, and then this is another piece that I just picked up that kind of helped me complete that Doom set that had some decent stats. So definitely a very, very solid damage dealer. And then we go through and we have Kriya here, who is apparently missing a piece of gear. I did not realize that that was the case. Let us find a piece of gear to put on here. I think she was probably using this one. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Oh, no, it was this one. There we go. But yeah, so this is my Kriya. She is not very well built, and the reason is because Power of Dominance is very, very powerful, right? I did put on the storyline gear when I used her as my single, basically my single damage dealer in Gear Raid 1. We'd had a little bit of damage coming from Setrum to help with that boss, and we had a little bit of damage from, like, Mari, but she doesn't deal that much damage, and then a little bit of damage from Nyx, but because they're very defense-heavy in Gear Raid 1, Nyx doesn't really do too much. It's primarily Kriya in there. So we have her built relatively decent. I mean, not good at all. But with that Power of Dominance, she's able to still clear me through that Gear Raid 1. Very, very good. Then we have Nyx, and so Nyx and Deimos here actually share a gear set because I never use the two of them together, and so until I can get some more gear, you know, that is one thing I do is I swap this gear between Deimos and Nyx. You'll see here it is a pretty solid set, definitely, you know, a little something to be desired in this piece right here. I'd love to be able to get a attack percent or a crit damage percent in that slot with a little bit of a better crit roll. But other than that, the rest of these pieces are really well. This is a very good piece, like beautiful piece, especially for Deimos, who has that, you know, a little bit of HP scaling and being a, you know, a melee fighter. Again, you gotta have that survivability. Very, very good there. And then we have, again, just some crit rate, crit damage, attack speed, kind of middle of the pack rolls, but definitely not bad. And then this piece right here I felt was also pretty decent. Again, with him having some HP scaling, it's not the end of the world that that's on there. I would have loved to see flat attack or crit damage as one of these rolls, but we definitely aren't mad about this piece because it did roll pretty good in attack speed and it has crit rate on it. So a pretty valuable piece on any account to have an attack bonus with crit rate on it. So super good set, in my opinion, one of the better sets I have because everything kind of lines up nice and perfect for the two champions that I use it for, so love that. Then of course we have our Dolores, who definitely has some room to grow. I'd love to get a Calamity weapon that's a mythic just to get this base attack basically. This is the best one I have other than the ones that I'm using on other people, and I believe that they're better used over there because they have things like crit rate and crit damage on them, which Dolores doesn't need, and those other champions do. And I just don't think the value is there to swap it. And then, of course, we do have this amulet here that could be level to 16. I will probably do this with the Tales of the Smith event that starts tonight, so she will get a little bit of a boost, but other than that, I think she's in a pretty good spot. You know, 7,700 extra attack is really good. We've got 32.5 rage regen. I'd love to get a little bit more, but it's a pretty nice spot. Of course, I have not changed her gear since finding out that info from Fastidious and War Guides about how attack speed doesn't actually help her, but the rest of the gear is still pretty solid. I mean, I've got some really good, this is a beautiful piece with that flat attack in the purple, the rage regen in the purple. Again, attack speed, it's unfortunate, but this will probably get moved to an attack-based healer once I pick up one of those, because it's also on this healing effect set in Asclepius, which is really powerful as well. And then again, this is just it. I'm mainly using it for attack and rage regen still because I just don't have a better piece. And then same thing here, it just has this huge attack, flat attack stat. So even though it has that attack speed, it's still a pretty solid piece. We're going to keep it on her for now. And then the rest of the units that we use are pretty basic. That's all the legendaries and really rare heroes and really kind of used heroes. Of course, we do have Wrath here. We just actually 6-starred him in this event. He has been very good. We did take him to A3 with our stones. We're going to keep him here until day 45. Once we hit day 45 and we get that that free Wrath, right, we'll then go ahead and throw an epic soulstone into him and just take him straight to A5 because we're not playing. That A5 is very good. We love it. But I also want to try and be as optimal as I can and not waste, you know, epic soulstones when I'm going to get a free one down the line, and I know I will. So pretty decent set here, though. I think it's nice. He's got this insight set, which gives him a little bit of extra damage. Really nice. Then we have Maul here. Again, Maul was in a better piece, a better setup when I did my Gear Raid 3, but he is pretty solid in this set here. I'm mainly focused on just getting crit rates and some decent attack, and then that Power of Dominance boosts him up the rest of the way that he needs to be. So Definitely not mad about that. We actually don't use these 3 here at the moment. Valkyra is technically used in my AMR run, but she's really kind of just there to actually give me a revive and be a body blocker. So these 3 aren't used very much on my account. Midon, I actually really like Midon. I think that she is very powerful, especially when you get her to A1, because she does that 10% damage reduction is actually pretty strong in certain places, especially Gear Raid 2, and even in early Guild Boss when you just don't have a lot of survivability built into your champions. And then, of course, her A3 also gives her just a little bit more healing, which is, of course, nice. We have her in a pretty standard build, just kind of stacking as much HP as we can with a decent chunk of attack speed. And, of course, we have a little bit of healing effect built in there. We did get this super great piece right here. I would have loved for this crit rate to be either a attack percent or an HP percent, so it could be a little bit more powerful on either an HP or an attack-based healer, but the rest of the stats are phenomenal. It's in a great set for healers, so definitely no complaints there. And then here, it's a pretty solid piece that I can move around between healers because it has both an attack bonus and an HP bonus stat. So a pretty nice kind of middle of the pack a piece there. But other than that, Midon is in a really, really good spot. I love her. Then we have my boy Vortex, who I love. He is one of my favorite characters in the game. And I think that's pretty obvious why. But he is our main healer in everything that we do. He is kind of just the best healer for most content. You know, and so that's why I'm using him. I got him. He's phenomenal. He has a huge range, which pairs really well with the Mythic Artifact Orb of Euphoria, because it just allows me to get just that touch little bit of damage that I'm missing in some situations. We love him. He is great. Then we have Olog. Olog is the free tank that you get at the start of the game if you haven't already got him. Once you hit level 40 and you unlock the Void Rift, you'll be able to pick him up there. He's a very, very good tank. Probably one of the best tanks in the game, even compared to some legendaries, and that's mainly because of this skill right here, Silver Shield. He just gets a massive shield at a pretty regular rate, 85% of his max HP every 11 seconds, and basically what that means is you have to deal 185% of his HP pool in 11 seconds to be able to damage him, or be able to take him out, I'm sorry, and that's pretty difficult to do, especially when you have at least one healer healing him. And keep in mind, this is at 5-star. I have not even taken him to 6-star, where he's going to get a very large chunk of HP, which is going to make him even more difficult to kill. Pretty solid. We have him in a Guardian set. We actually have him in, I believe it's double HP defense. Yeah, this piece is not very good, right? We want to have that HP percent, but in Gear Raid 2, I needed this 15% damage reduction in order to survive. This is one of those situations where, and I think I'm going to talk about this in a future video, but sometimes sets are important, right? Yes, it is most of the time going to be stats over sets. I 100% agree. But don't be afraid to mess around. I had these 2 pieces of gear on my Olog already, and then I just had a random HP percent piece here. I think it was this one, right? And that's good. This is a decent piece. It's got a little bit of defense, some flat HP bonus. It's not a terrible piece, but throwing this on and getting that 15% damage reduction made it so that my Olog was actually tankier than when he had that HP percent on. And so there are little things like that. Don't be afraid to, you know, mix and match some stuff. That's pretty much it. We do have Livian here, which we use, but not crazy. She's just in a pretty basic tanky build. We have Mari here, focusing mainly on attack speed in order to get those slows out for, you know, damage, you know, buffs and stuff like that. But that's pretty much the roster. We use a lot of the same champions throughout the game right now. So I want to do just a quick run of all of my fights, so you can see the full team and how we're able to do it. Hopefully everything works out. I didn't test this beforehand. I believe everyone is in the proper gear to do most of these runs. We may need to move Nyx and Deimos' gear around. We'll double check that before we go into fights, but you'll see here that these runs work pretty smoothly. They're not the fastest runs in the world, of course, because, you know, again, we don't have crazy gear, and most of these were completed using the same gear set on just several different champions, right? You'll see that that's a pretty recurring theme on my account right now, is that we're kind of just stacking those things up. So you'll see here, one of the biggest things is Setram is here, and he is going to be the big damage dealer for that boss. That boss was deleted because of Setram. And then we have Kriya and Valkyra here to just kind of burn things down. I will say that I could make this faster. I actually did this run before I had Zillu. Zillu would be a game changer for this account because she does way more damage than Valkyra does, and she's also built, right? Valkyra is still at 5-star, Zillu's at 6-star in some pretty good gear. So this is actually an old run that I just haven't updated yet, and we definitely have a lot of progress that we could make in these runs, but they're all in pretty good spots, which is why I wanted to make this video. So this is, I mean, it has attack speed, but it's in the last slot. We're not going to keep that. So then we can go into our gear raid 2. Now this is the one I just completed literally a little bit before recording this video. I'm very proud of this. I want to give some shout outs to a couple different people. Fastidious, he did a video talking about some basic strats for Gear Raid 2 recently in his Gear Raid 221. I'm using a little bit of a different tactic here, but a lot of the things are the same, like you'll see there. I do use Decimus to deal with some of the health of those golems. You will see I place Zillu in a similar spot like where he placed his Arrogance. You know, we aren't able to use that sort of Volca A1 Volca cheese, and so it's a little bit different, but because we're on that 18, we're kind of just able to use our damage reduction ultimate from Midon and our shield ultimate from Vortex to kind of keep ourselves alive. And get some pretty easy clears. You know, this only actually took me a couple attempts once I sat down and kind of understood the proper placements of different people, as well as, you know, the timing on certain things, which again, huge shout out to Fastidious. The timing on the Decimus drops were very, very much gotten from his video of talking exactly when to drop the champion in his run of 21. So huge shout out there, Fastidious, if you're watching it, thank you so much. But yeah, so that is our Gear Raid 2 run. I am amazed at how well it actually went. I did not think it was going to go this well. I'm actually going to keep this piece because it has flat HP, attack speed, and rage regen, which is actually not terrible for a tank, I think. And it's in a Guardian set. It's not the greatest, but at this point I'm trying to be picky, but not super picky. Alright, then we have Gear Raid 3. This was I believe the second one that I got done on 18, because I got Gear Raid 1 done first because I pulled Kriya. And this one took a little bit of time. You know, I really got to give huge props to my stream. I was streaming when I did this, and everyone in stream gave me some really good advice on different placements, where to put different things. You know, War Guides has helped me in several of his streams on kind of learning the placements in Gear Raid 3 in general. But I have to say that this really came down to just some clever thinking, right? When I first started this, I had Nyx. Nyx is easily able to solo that right side, which I actually just realized Nyx is not wearing gear. So this is going to fail. But we're going to go put gear on Nyx and we'll show you. I'm not going to take this out because this is one of the downsides of using gear sets on multiple different characters. So you'll see here she is not wearing gear. So we're going to go ahead and steal our Deimos gear here real fast, and then we'll run that through again. But yeah, so when you're in this early game stages, right, you don't have a lot of gear. And so when you're trying to do things, a lot of the times you're gonna have to steal gear from other people, or your units are going to be not built optimally, and you're not going to be able to push as high as you can. And that's one of the things that I think I see a lot of people struggling with, is not having a lot of pieces of gear and not realizing, oh, let me just move my piece, you know, from this champion to this champion, and I'll be able to get this done. You know, I know that they're planning on, with the dev insights and the, I think MaBucket, who had a video, they are talking about bringing in a bunch of new changes to the gear system in terms of placement and all that jazz. And I'm really excited for that. But definitely don't sit on, you know, the ability to swap gear around. It's very good. But anyway, so back to this whole Gear Raid 3 thing. I had Nyx, and Nyx was soloing that right side. I had Setrum, and I had Zillu, and they were destroying that boss in the middle. But I was really struggling on this left side. And my Maul is 6-star now, but I want to tell you, he was not 6-star when I cleared this originally. He was 5-star. And I was able to use the combination of his ultimate and his AoE damage to whittle them down and Hatsud in that left corner in order to clean up what Maul was not able to clean up. Now, of course, that he's 6-star and we have that power of dominance, he's able to do most of it on his own. He still needs a little bit of help there, but it's generally a pretty good setup. Hey, this is a good piece. We will take that. But yeah, so these are my 3 gear raids at 18. The next goal is going to be getting 19s in all 3 of them. Odds are I am going to get stuck on a couple of these raids, because the jump from 18 to 19 is very difficult. But I think that we'll be able to get it relatively soon. I have been dumping a lot of energy and a lot of crystals into these gear raids so that I can get as much gear as possible in order to really be able to, you know, progress my account as fast as possible. Like I said, we are pushing storyline. We are going to be getting Volca tonight. You'll see here that I'm on tide 55. Literally at reset, we can go in, we can fight this, we can get our Volca. I have everything saved up. I have the skill dust, right? I've got 130 skill dust. I've been holding on to it. It's been so hard, but I've been holding on to it so we can do that quest. We'll have to do some arenas and some other stuff. Huge shout out to MaBucket, by the way, guys. If you go to MaBucket's website, there's a link to it in the description below. He has a website that has the entire storyline and every quest there. I have used it this entire way to make sure that I'm not using resources that I'm going to need in the future for one of these storyline quests. So definitely make sure to hang out in there, check it out, make sure you have everything set up. I've already run into a couple people who were pissed off that they aren't going to be able to get their Volca today or tomorrow or in a few days because they just used all of their legendary skill dust, for example, and they don't know if they're going to have enough when they get to that quest. So definitely pay attention to all that kind of stuff. But guys, this is my update video for my account because we cleared those 18s, and I really wanted to kind of show you what my account looked like when that happened. And really, it's not that crazy. I don't think it's that crazy, right? We only have 9 6-stars, right? 9 6-stars, that's it. We've got 9 6-stars. We don't have a crazy amount of built-out champions. We're using a lot of the same champions in all of our different areas, and I think that this is the case in a lot of different areas. Is if you get certain champions, you're able to do a lot of progression, but also there are a lot of champions that are very good in different areas, right? Wrath is a free champion, guys. He's free, right? You could use him all over the place. So definitely try to push. Always make sure you are attempting new stuff. Don't just be stagnant and say, "Ah, my gear's not good enough." Try it. Maybe a little bit of positioning, right? With Gear Raid 2 this morning, I was like, there's no way I can clear this. And I was like, you know what? Let me try. Let me try. I saw that video by Fastidious, and I was like, let me see what we can do. And I cleared it very quickly. So you never really know when you're going to be able to push. So always be trying. But guys, that is it for me today. I know this was a long one. I appreciate it if you made it this far. Please leave a comment down below and let me know what day are you on in your account and who's your favorite champion. Like I said, mine is probably either Zillu 2 or Hots, because they're both really cool looking. I think Zillu 2 might take the cake, though. But, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and look forward to some really awesome content coming forward, including maybe some collabs. We'll have to see what happens. But, guys, that's it. I will see you in the next one. Peace.